Hello again folks, and today I thought we'd have a little ride up the A65 towards Kendal and take the little narrow lane that we rode about a month and a half ago over to the B road, the 6254, down towards Cumbria Lonsdale and then back over Hutton Roof and homewards. Now this is the A65, and I thought I'd show you this little bit so you can see where we turn off. That's just up the road a little way, and if you remember last time we came in the opposite direction from Cumbria Lonsdale up to Oxenholme and took a couple of wrong turnings. However, today we know where we're going and we will take the right turning. The little lane is just up here on the right hand side, a bit further on, but I thought you'd like to see this little bit of scenery. That was a bit bumpy, wasn't it? Gosh, slows you down. Now, I wasn't actually intended to ride quite so far as this, but it was such a lovely morning that in the event we did about 80 miles, and this is on Spitfire. Left Hurricane in the hangar. I wasn't actually carrying any carrying the tools that come with the Royal Enfield, but I wasn't actually carrying my little puncture repair outfit, so I was a little concerned. Although I probably wouldn't want to do the puncture outfit repair myself, I thought if you've got it, it gives you some peace of mind. Actually, I probably would have a go at plugging the tyre. I don't know, probably ring up the Royal Enfield Assist, get them to sort it out. That's what we're paying for after all. And isn't that amazing? These bikes are relatively cheap at under £4,000, and yet you get 3 years warranty and 3 years roadside assistance, which is absolutely marvellous. Haven't had to put either to the test yet, but it does give you peace of mind, I think. So where's this turning? Just up here a bit, I said, didn't I? Can't be too much further on. Yes, we've had some funny old weather, but here we are, just coming up to it now on the right hand side. The lane on the left is the route we took back last time through Sidgwick. But here we are, we're on this little narrow little lane with views over on the left towards Kendal and Oxenholme. This actually does take you down to Oxenholme, which is where the railway station for Kendal is. And I notice actually when we get the other end of this little lane, there's an inn, and it's called the Station Inn. So in the past I used to think, well, that's rather a strange place to have Kendal's railway station. But in fact, it's not that very far from Kendal itself, so it makes great good sense. Those folks, when they built the Midland Railway way back in Victorian times, they knew where they were off to. Probably also because they couldn't get permission to go across land, so that's why they put it there. Just pull in here, then past. We don't meet anybody else on the road, so it's okay. I did actually watch the video when we did this in the reverse direction before I did this, just to remind myself of what it was like. And then we were in a heat wave, and since then we've had a fair bit of rain, and it's got much colder. And you can see a bit of rain. The water's running down the side of this lane here. Getting more into the open ground now with the bracken. Favourite walking place by the looks of things. Very understandable. It climbs up quite high. In fact, the whole route down the 6254, which is a bit busier than it has been because we're on school holidays, and the roads inevitably get busier then. But it wasn't too bad. views opening up now. Now just running down to that B road and the station. And this obviously was a gated road once upon a time, no longer. That road opposite is part of a cycleway too. Right, here we go then, off towards Cope Lonsdale. And just up here on the right hand side was the turning that I took by mistake, not that one. I don't think it was actually, it might have been. I don't think it might have been actually. Yeah, that was the one when I had to turn around and come back. Although I think it probably, if you had a Himalayan or adventure bike of some sort, then you most likely could actually get across. But I haven't, so I won't do it. I've actually been watching Aussie biker dude who hit the dirt, so to speak, on his Himalayan, Harry the Himalayan, and he did a one. Actually, I think the best video he's ever done. His introduction was marvellous. It was all based on Star Trek and to boldly go, and I thought I chuckled all the way through it. It was wonderful. I did, whilst I was watching it, I did think to myself, oh, he's gone off piste, and then I thought to myself, perhaps not. Apologies for that. That's schoolboy humour, my friend. Road in very nice condition, and coming this way from Oxenholme, which is that little village we just come from, wonderful views. So yeah, very pleased to have done this. I enjoyed the ride. Hope you are too. Nice little bridges. Riding through our countryside makes you realise just how much heritage we have. Everything is there's so much stone up here, and it all looks so good. A fun little caravan that was, quite an old one, not like the monsters you see nowadays being pulled, twin axle jobs. And the motorhomes, I mean, they're getting bigger and bigger. Why do people need so much space? It's a far cry from camping. I cry for my old VW camper van. Here we are, Old Hutton. Was it once called Hutton? I decided, like the oldie villagey tea shoppy, I decided to rename it Old Hutton. But it certainly is old. I thought they got a pavement anyway. Does that lead to New Hutton perhaps? In the south of England you've got Alresford and New Alresford. But a new bit. I say New Alresford, I mean it's probably the 30s that was built. Anyway, the Watercress line is down at Alresford. And if you're ever down that way, I highly recommend it. It runs from Alresford to Alton. Alton is a lovely little town, worth a visit. Just been watching Ainsworth Rider, James to his friends, who has Hebden Bridge to meet up with Silver Fox Travels, also known as Nick. And let's say, first time that Nick had been to Hebden Bridge apparently. Despite being a Yorkshireman. It did look lovely actually. Rather lovely building over on the right hand side there. So it's quite a long village if this is still Old Hutton. The road works everywhere at the moment. What am I thinking of? School holidays. Let's dig the road up. It's a bit broken up in the middle there. Somebody out cycling, enjoying themselves. Perfect day. Not too much breeze. There is a bit of wind, but yeah, it's not too bad. Nice little turning off to the right there too. One will have to have a look at the map. So many lanes, so many to travel, so much to explore. Watch out for this dog on the left, on the wrong lead. Yes, indeed. There's an awful lot of people around who do not control their dogs. I've had that happen a couple of times. A chap in Burton in Kendal, as I was riding into Burton in Kendal, he was standing by the bus stop with his dog. And he also had one of these extended type leads, and this dog just went straight across the road at me. Idiot. Can't blame the dog really, but they do need a bit of training, and they do need sensible owners. Not enough griping. Yes, when we came up the opposite direction, we were going from deep shade into bright sunlight and back again, an awful lot. We're a bit further into the year, of course. And today it's actually a perfect day for photography. It's a perfect day for riding, of course. But in terms of photography, it's very good because you haven't got those incredible contrasts. And colour photography doesn't like contrast. Still photography I'm talking about, but video photography apparently is much the same. Now, until I started doing this YouTube thing, I never did any video stuff. In fact, I used to poo-poo video. I said, no, that's not for me. Give me a good print, a good 20 by 16, pop it up on the wall. Now, I still like that because it's nice to look at something where you've been, good memories, and, but I think the reason I do these YouTube channel is primarily for myself and a few friends, because I want something to look back on when I'm no longer able to ride. And that time will come. Time marches on. I said to my friend Mike, the sands of time only run one way. He often quotes back to me, yes, Mike, happy days when we used to work together, wasn't it? Were they so happy? Well, we didn't have any worries, did we? I don't have any worries now. But, he's much younger. He's works full time. I do see a lot of him. We're climbing up now, and we get some good views from the top. The hunter is working hard, keeping an eye out for cows crossing. Yes, I'm talking about animals crossing the road. Right towards the end of this, if you stick with this video, and I can quite understand why you might not do it. It's 30 minutes long. That's an awful long time to be watching a video. But anyway, right towards the end, we do actually get a deer go across the road in front of us. Now, quirkily, only the morning before this ride, one of my subscribers who lives fairly close by warned me that he was out cycling near Wharton, and was a little village near Lancaster, and he said he was on his cycle and a deer ran across, nearly knocked him off, and then actually collided with a car. So to watch out when I'm riding over that way, because there are obviously deer around. And I hadn't really sort of thought about it much, but in reality, of course, there are lots of deer. Anywhere you get any sort of foresting, you're going to get deer. And of course, in New Forest, you've got not only you've got deer to look out for, you've got the wild ponies. Yeah, it's an absolutely delightful road this is. As I said before, it's not heavily used. You can see why people cycle down it too. Though you wouldn't really catch me doing that now. A bit more oomph, and this the Royal Enfield Hunter's got quite enough oomph for me. I can see if you're going to be touring regularly, much longer distance, then maybe you want a bit more power. But I'll just take my time and take longer over it. Go at a pace where because for me the journey is the thing. Destination, yes, that's important, but enjoy the journey. So I'm enjoying this one. Because we've had all this rain, and actually it's been quite cold at times. The countryside is actually not looking quite so worn out as it does normally at this time of year. There are a few flies around, which I've just had to brush off my face, caught in my beard. And yes, normally by the end of July, coming into August, the countryside does look a bit sort of tired out. But at the moment, it's looking lovely. At least we haven't suffered from wildfires like we often used to get in the south of England. Down in Dorset way, it used to be terrible. The wildfires down that way into the New Forest. It used to be like a crisp, and the slightest thing would set it off. Sure, there was a speed limit going through here, but oh yes, there is. 30. Cool, straight away there. Right, we're at the 30 minute. perfect riding. Nice open views. I mean, the last ride we took together was through a fair bit of overhanging trees, which was lovely in itself, but it's nice to have these open views, I think. Nice to have a mix. Country of nearly 70 million inhabitants, we've still got an awful lot of open land, thankfully. Although I've noticed in one or two places there's houses going up in places where once was farmland. This little bit of road was a bit bumpy just here. Yes, overall this was 80 miles in all money, and no ill effects from it. A very slight twinge maybe on my right collarbone neck area, which I put down to the fact I was using it's a throttle, I suppose. Certainly no problem on the left, but on the right hand side was a slight twinge. Had I stopped and had a bit of a walk around after about 50 miles, then that wouldn't have happened. But it didn't actually seem like 80 miles, I must say. And we are actually on the cusp of the Yorkshire Dales National Park as we come down towards Cumbria. There's a little sign that says Yorkshire Dales National Park. So we've actually covered three counties almost. We've been in Lancashire, that's where we started from. Went to Cumbria, and now so on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales. Right, so I've come through Cumbria. I didn't show that bit because we've been through there a couple of times before, and it was market day, rather busy, too many cars. Now we're heading off out towards the village of Whittington, and we're going to take a turn at Whittington up over Hutton Roof Way, and right at the end of that leads down into Burton Kendal. And whilst we've done that before in the past, different times of the year, I don't think we've actually done this bit. I remember when I came this way when I first got the Meteor and returned to motorcycling a couple of years ago, and these bends I was very wary. Still pretty wary now, but quite tight, but a bit more confidence. At the Motorboat Club to Windermere on Monday, there was an AJS 250, a Sapphire, parked there. It was in lovely condition, had been restored, not a spot of rust on it, of course. A blue exhaust pipe, I remember the blue exhaust pipes, and oh, it did look tiny. Now, way back when I was about 11, I think, I used to cycle to in Portsmouth. There was a dealer that it was mainly trials and scrambles, and George Hodges motorcycles it was, London Road. It was quite close to where I used to live, and I used to cycle there and gaze in the window at the scrambles and trials bikes. But they also had, and it was outside, so you could look over it, was an HJS Sapphire. And that was an unusual machine, actually, the Sapphire, because although it looked as though it was a unit construction engine, it was in fact a separate engine and gearbox, which is most odd for a machine of that time, and they're all becoming construction. The C15, the Royal Enfield Crusader, which was well ahead of its time, the Crusader. I had one that was a lovely machine. Now this is Whittington. Anyway, I looked at the size of the tyres on this Sapphire. Blimey. Yes, tyres were that narrow and that square. The Speedmaster front and the safety mileage on the back. I remember them well. But one of my motorboat friends, he used to have the Sapphire. He obviously wanted an apprentice rather, to be able to afford one of those. I certainly couldn't have done. Only about the same age as I am. Might be a bit younger actually. Right, we're heading off now up to Hutton Roof. So we cut out most of it, and we're now heading off, and we're going to spot that deer very shortly. I have made a little text to alert you to it. And there it is. And off he goes. A young one, I think. Fallow deer? Certainly not a red deer. Some lovely walking. You can see why there's deer around. I mean, this is all good woodland, isn't it, for them? My favourite little run, this actually. It's much nicer going this way up over towards Kirby Lonsdale from Burton in Kendal, isn't it? It's the other route on the B road. This is unclassified, this road, but actually in nicer condition, and it just got nice little twists and turns, climbs. It's a slower road, and you don't get the heavy traffic on it, although you do have to watch out for logging lorries. Up at Hutton Roof itself, there's a big logging place, and the lorries do come down here with a great pile of logs on. Huge things. That's what you see in Scotland. In fact, one came down here with a trailer full of logs as well, just like you see in Scotland. This is a lovely little run down this pit. Yes, the joy of motorcycling. Home farm. The review picked up on my last video. I said it's pleasure per mile, and he picked up on that, and he was quite taken with it. Look at the view on the left, that those lovely trees and that farmland, that open land, grassland. Yes, so to be in England, it's beautiful. Well folks, we're now coming to the end of this ride, just about 10 minutes away, and I'd like to thank you all for joining me. It's been a pleasure to have your company, and I hope you'll be able to join me on many more rides in the future. If not on Spitfire, then Hurricane. Spitfire in fact is coming up for its 6 months since its last service, or 6 months after I got it. I'm not sure which of the two. Anyway, I'll be doing that myself. Why not? It's easy enough, and it's not as difficult as the 500 kilometers service. Now this is the end of the ride, and we're just coming down to the junction with Burston and Kendal, which is off to the right, and we shall see my little logo rolling its way in. Thank you again, Marcimoto, for providing me with that. I quite like it. Hope you all do too. See you next time. Bye for now.